channel for Auto Talk. Today we have got the the latest generation, I should say, Jeep Grand Cherokee L 2023 model year 4x4.
Yeah, this is the long wheelbase, so it's got the third row, not to be confused with the two row. You can really tell, not to give too much away already, but
let's do it.
It's very clearly longer than the two row seater, so
yes,
huge distinguisher right there.
Yes. You know, and I have to say as well, you mentioned the long wheelbase, which means there's more space on the inside. But we'll get to that in just a little bit. Want to just take a few minutes to just walk around the vehicle and just point out some really neat features. I do love the way that they did their grille up here. A little modern take on that classic design. You know, a lot of manufacturers are moving to, I guess if you want to call this like a honeycomb style or something like that.
Similar for sure.
You know, so a lot of manufacturers are going on with this styling, which I really like that look.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great take on the classic 7-slotted grille that Jeep is known for.
Yes.
I love how well they incorporated the camera and the sensor. That's really cool.
It's almost to the point you wouldn't notice it was really there.
Right.
It's kind of camouflage, like my jacket. And just continuing down the front of the fascia here to the lower front bumper area, you know, that same design is mimicked here in the grilling as well. And also your PDC sensors are also kind of tucked away, hidden if you will, where it's not easy to notice.
Yeah, so I like the look of it. I wish it was all functional. I mean, this is just plastic.
Just for looks, just for show.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess you're not going to take this to a racetrack or anything. It doesn't need to be functional, but
right.
Real always looks better than fake.
100%. And, you know, I guess you don't really think about this, but your brakes and your rotors are always getting hot. So it's always nice to have some extra air flow through to cool them off.
Yeah, especially on a big old SUV. You want to make sure you can stop that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But if we bounce back up again to our headlights, we've got, you know, the LEDs, the daytime running lights. We've got our headlights. And again, we've mentioned this on previous vehicles we've seen so far. That nice streamlined, slim design.
Yeah, it's definitely modern. It's beautiful. I think whoever designed this at Jeep just snapped.
Yeah.
They are like, let me show you how it's done.
Yeah, totally. Because you can see the vision across the front. Everything just fits together. It's all in line. It's all in a nice uniform shape. And it still, I think, keeps that classic Jeep Grand Cherokee from like the 80s.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
In mind, the 80s and the 90s, right?
It's a very modern take on a classic design. Yeah. They did not compromise at all.
Yes.
It still very much looks like a Jeep.
Yes, 100%. Really, really love that. No, we can just continue around the vehicle. We've got it in white clear coat, so not a fancy color by any means. You know, just kind of your classic white. But what makes this pop? We've got the two-tone. I like this, the black with the white. We saw this on the Ford Bronco Raptor, the black and the white, kind of the tuxedo. I love it when manufacturers go a little bit beyond and they don't make the entire vehicle white.
Yeah.
I like the roof color being different than the body.
Yeah.
The mirror caps matching the roof. Then we've got our accent in the silver coming down here to the door handles.
Yeah, and I think that's a really cool touch. I like how the pillars are blacked out. And you got this beautiful strip of, it looks like brushed chrome, maybe aluminum, at the top. It just looks really cool, and I like how they incorporate that on the door handles.
Yes.
One thing that I really appreciate is when the cladding around the wheel wells is body color, not black and cheap looking.
Yes.
This is the Summit, so
the Summit,
it is
yes. This is the trim level.
the higher end of the Jeep spectrum. So it's nice to have that. If you get maybe like a lower model, it's probably going to have the black plastic. So if you're picky like me, then that's something to take note.
Yep. Paint color is everything on a vehicle. It can make or break the look. It can make or break the feel. And when things flow, it's just so nice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know all the colors in Jeep's lineup, but I will say with more manufacturers getting a little more bold with their colors, it would be nice to see something maybe a little unusual.
Yeah,
on
something
this.
a little bit more unique.
Yeah.
I know that there's some options. There's some cool things that could probably be done.
Yeah.
For sure. But if we continue, we've got this guy sitting on 20-inch wheels, and this is, I believe it was painted aluminum on the wheels. So it's not real aluminum. It's kind of giving it that kind of false aluminum look.
Yeah, and it's, you said 20-inch, right?
20-inch,
Okay.
yep. So,
sitting on 265 50 R20s, all seasons.
All seasons, yep. So. But I think my issue with these being painted, as you can kind of see on this vehicle, rock chips, things like that, that's going to start peeling off over time. So that could be an issue for longevity for the wheel, especially if you're someone that likes to keep their vehicle in nice shape.
Yeah.
You know.
I will say I have a 2017 Grand Cherokee. I've probably mentioned that in every video.
Still waiting for part 2 for you, man.
I know.
Part 2.
It's coming. But I have painted wheels on that, and it seems to be holding up pretty well. I mean, that's 7 years and barely have a scratch on them. So.
Well, I think you may be the exception to the rule. This one didn't fare so well. But that's okay. That's all right. I mean, they still look nice.
Yeah.
It still fits the vehicle.
There's that longer profile on the L. Give you a good look at that.
And of course, we've got our Grand Cherokee badge at the front door on both sides.
Classic. With the American flag.
Yep.
It is interesting on the passenger side, the flag is backwards. Instead of on the driver's side, it's the right way on here. So they didn't go through the trouble of creating a separate flag for the passenger side.
But you know, I do think that's the way when you're doing the flag opposite, because I've seen that in many other instances. I just think that is the standard for some reason for it to be flipped that way. If anybody knows why that happens, please comment down below. I would love to hear your thoughts and takes on that. But if you're looking at it left to right, it doesn't translate. So I get what you're saying, Kay, for sure. But as we continue around the back, again, we've got our tail lights, nice and streamlined. They kind of wrap around both sides. Very sleek, very cool looking. We've got of course, our 4x4 badge here. We've got our nice little Summit badge right there, Grand Cherokee. So, you know, it's subtle, nothing crazy, nothing really too, I mean, insane that pops out.
You can tell where the inspiration was from the previous generation. It kind of does have that same general design.
Yes.
It would be nice to see like a light bar go all the way across like you see in most cars these days.
Ooh.
Durango has it. For whatever reason, Jeep is like, no, thank you.
Yes.
But it would be a really cool, again, modern touch.
So. But they do have their third brake light tucked up here.
Yeah, and
so
it's a good
sleek,
size too.
Smooth. Unless it's activated, you're not really going to notice that it's there. Yeah. So I really, really like that.
I do like the dual exhaust.
Yes.
Jeep did away with that for a while on anything that wasn't a performance version. But so it's nice to see it back.
Yep. And I was going to mention that I do like the shape of their cutouts here. Yeah. So it gives it that nice sporty look.
And those aren't real exhausts.
Correct.
I mean, you have the basic kind of pipe.
Correct.
Out,
yep. Yep.
So it's more of a design thing, but still looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks very nice. Super aesthetic. So, you know, as we just kind of make our way around, same things on the passenger side, basically repeats over here on the driver's side. And like Kay pointed out, we've got our flag facing, obviously, the
right way.
Correct direction.
It's the
for
details,
anybody
you know
that's
what I mean?
picky about that,
though.
But, you know, we'll take a peek in on the inside. I do want to say before we do that, kind of making our way to the inside, our tailgate. Fun fact about this tailgate. Okay.
There are 4 different ways that I know of to open and close this tailgate.
Way 1.
Way 1. If you'll be so kind to demonstrate for us.
I hope it works.
Kick to open.
Let's try it again.
Let me give it a shit.
One more time.
Oh, there it goes. Third tries the charm.
Yes.
So yeah, that's one way. And then
way 2.
The button here closes it. So I guess there's 5 ways to close it.
There you go.
But yeah, you might have already seen it. There's a little button there that you can press to open it. You can also lock the tailgate or lock the vehicle from the tailgate, which is really nice. And then you have the key fob,
of course,
so you can close it that way. And then most SUVs, you can also open and close it from the inside.
Yes, so. From the passenger or the driver's side. Is it on the door panel?
It's actually you'll see it in the interior shots, but there's a panel on the ceiling right in front of the sunroof. That's where it is. Push
button at the top.
Right there, yeah.
Awesome. All right, Kay. Let's see what we've got under the hood. All right, so looks like we've got ourselves a 3.6 liter V6. I believe this guy is 295 horsepower at 290 foot-pounds of torque. I know you have a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
That I do.
You know, what are your thoughts on the power of this engine?
It's really smooth. I believe it's probably one of the best motors that they have in any other vehicles right now. I think it's super smooth. It feels plenty powerful. You're never wanting for more power in this, so I love it.
Awesome. That is actually very, very super cool.
Yeah, it's easy to live with for sure.
And it also comes with the 8-speed automatic transmission as well. So smooth shifting. You know, again, enough power to get you in and out of certain situations, but not anything that's going to be where you can tear up the racetrack, you know. Yeah. So very comfortable vehicle, especially for folks that are going to be traveling with their families and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. And especially, I mean, it needs to be powerful. It seats 6.
Yep, so, seating for 6. Yep.
And then I've got 6 people and then cargo, so you got to have plenty of power to handle all that, and this, I'm pretty sure, will do the trick.
100%. And we've also got a quadtrack, sorry, four-wheel drive system. So again, this vehicle is very capable for all types of terrain, rain, snow, mud. Obviously, I don't really see, you know, you're really taking it out, getting down and dirty on any crazy off-road trails. But, you know, again, some light trails, traveling up to the mountains, things like that, it will be capable to get you through that situation.
Yeah, I mean, it is a Jeep, right?
Yes.
Like, that's kind of one of the reasons you buy a Jeep.
Yes.
So that you can be ready for anything.
Yep, yep.
Obviously, they do have the Trail Hawk if that's something that, you know, you're into.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in this Summit Reserve, I mean, it does have the air suspension, so you get a little extra ground clearance when you need it.
Yes.
That with the transmission and the power, I think it's capable. It's capable enough to take on anything.
Yes.
I just don't know if you're spending this thing almost brand new is almost $70,000. So
yeah, insane.
I just don't know if you know you want to take your $70,000 SUV
off-roading. So. Correct, for sure, or any crazy terrain. But yeah, I was going to bring that up about that Quadralift air suspension. That's I think a really cool feature. I know we had been playing around with that, kind of getting used to it. So we'll pop in a couple of clips of that as we're kind of going around the vehicle. You guys can take a look at that. It's actually pretty neat and pretty smooth the way it functions.
For sure. It is. We can talk about it later, but there was something I noticed about the air suspension that I want to make sure people are aware of. But
perfect. We'll check it out when we pop inside.
Great.
Okay, so now we're inside this Jeep Grand Cherokee L Summit, and we've got a really, really nice interior. I believe they call this Global Black. Yep. For the interior color. So obviously we've got, you know, black, and we've got our brown trim. We've got the kind of wood grain paneling here. I actually don't know if this is real wood. Okay,
it seems very close to real to me. I mean, it sounds and feels very real.
Mm-hmm.
I like the look of it. I like the open pore. That's the word I was looking for on the Cadillac Escalade video. The open pore wood. I like the look of it. I like these are Napa leather seats.
Napa leather, yes,
not to be confused. And then I love on the Summit, you get this stitching on the seats and on the door panels. And I think that is just like next level stuff.
Yep. That definitely gives it a very classy, luxurious,
very upscale
touch. Yeah, 100%. And they also have the wood trim here on the steering wheel as well, which we kind of saw that on that Cadillac Escalade. It also had the wood trim kind of at the bottom. So yeah, nicely laid out steering wheel. Nothing, too crazy. It's just everything is very streamlined. Easy button controls here. But as we move up to our odometer, fully digital. Um, which again, I really do like these. Just my concern is just longevity and functionality over time. But I do like the digital dash. We are in a digital age, as we're moving forward towards the future. Vehicles are going to become more and more and more and more so computers on wheels. That's what I always call them these days. Computers on wheels. I love the digital dash. Easy layout, easy to read. The display here in the center, though, your infotainment, it is quite small. So that is kind of a drawback for me, I think, in a vehicle of this stature. This is supposed to be the highest trim level, and you're still getting a small display.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is the upgraded one, because I think the stock one, the one that you get on like some of the lower trims, at least on the base trim, is even smaller than that. So that's a little disappointing in 2024.
Yes.
But I will say in the Summit, having that bigger screen is nice. Having the digital gauge cluster is nice. And even on some versions of the Summit, and maybe even other trims, you get a third screen over on the passenger side.
Okay.
And they can control things like video, audio, maps, stuff like that. So that's really cool. And then they made it so where the driver can't be distracted by it because they can't even see what's on that screen from the driver's seat.
Yeah, that is very nice. Because again, as we kind of vehicles continue to upgrade and change, and they level up, more and more distractions now we're getting in our vehicles. So that's going to be important as people are progressing towards more digital accessories, I guess, if you want to put it that way. That we can't have too much to distract the driver away from what they're supposed to be paying attention to, and these things can end up being a distraction.
Yeah, and it's interesting though, on that same note, that there's no head-up display offered on this.
Correct. I was going to mention that.
Yeah, at $70,000, with all the other technology that you get, they're like, no, thank you.
No heads-up display. Also, this is fully touchscreen, which is great. I do like that. I was just kind of messing around here on the steering wheel. You have some buttons that can control your odometer, so you can change the layout of it a little bit. But you don't have anything for the driver to control, like a control wheel for your screen. Everything you'd have to take your hand away to control that.
I mean, it is nice though that it's on the console and not on the dash, so that makes it a little easier. But again, you do have to look away from the road to get to what you need.
Right. I mean, a knob here, this is obviously for your gear shifter, but a knob here would make more sense to me than having your big gear shifter knob here. This would make more sense to me to control this.
Yeah.
A lot easier. But we've also got a lot of controls up here as well. We've got your engine on or off, your lane departure warning, your traction control. Of course, you got your hazard lights. We've also got, I think it's self-parking as well. You can do that. You've got your PDC sensor control up here to turn that on or off. A plethora of controls, heated, cooled seats for driver and passenger. You got your heated steering wheel.
Yeah.
I mean, the list goes on in this car.
Yeah, and not to interrupt, but I am so glad that there are physical buttons for the HVAC in the newer Jeeps. So, and just to clarify, there are physical ones in like the previous generation. But in order to get to your heated seats, your vented seats, your heated steering wheel, you have to go into the screen, and not just like on the home screen. You have to go into climate control, click a button, and then your menu pops up, and then you can choose what you need. And then you have to click out of that or just wait for it to time out. But it was a little bit of a hassle. It is a little, I still live with that every day. So it's a little bit of a hassle, but it's nice to know that they did not carry that over into the next generation.
They give you options. Like you said, you've got your physical buttons here you can touch, turn on. You can also do it from the screen, driver, passenger. They also have massaging seats as well.
Yeah.
So you can press the button here on the door panel. Same thing over there on the passenger side, and then to bring up the seats. And of course, you can use your controls here to control that. And same thing on the passenger side. The passenger one would have to be activated from here, or the passenger can activate it from over there on the door. So, I mean, that's, very, very cool feature. Very upscale again for a vehicle of this stature. So they're definitely bringing all those creature comforts in this vehicle. Still lacking in some areas, but definitely bringing their game for this car.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge leap from the previous generation as far as the technology goes. I mean, it is super impressive. It's great that they're making that investment. I just feel like if you're gonna do it, then do it. You know what I mean? Like at this price level, you should not even have to ask for a head-up display. It should just be there.
It should just be there, automatic, instantaneous.
So, I mean, especially you're throwing in like heated cooled seats, heated steering wheel, massaging seats. You got all this safety technology, which is awesome and necessary.
Yes.
But then you're like, you don't get that.
Yes. And the other thing that we mentioned too, we've got our controls here for our air suspension. So we've got a rock mode, sand, mud. We've got snow. We've got auto, so it automatically adjusts according to the terrain. We've got our sport mode, and then you've got your different levels and your controller here to flip through those and control those. Not really sure if you can do this like on the fly, so to speak, if that's safe, or if it's better to be in a parked or neutral position. What do you know about that, Kay?
I don't know as far as that goes. I think you could probably get to some, like if you're pulling into your driveway and you don't want to scrape because you have it in the lower setting. I'm pretty sure you can adjust it without having to put the car in park.
Okay. Like low speed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But maybe if you want to get to like the highest of off-road settings, you might have to. I know some vehicles require you to be in neutral for that or park, so that might be the same situation here.
Yep. For sure. Definitely want to make sure you don't jack that up, because I know that that repair, those parts would be very, very costly for sure.
Yeah, I will say the air suspension, it does move fairly quickly.
It does.
You don't wait very long for it to do what it has to do.
It does.
But it is a little loud on the inside. It's making noises I've never heard before. So I don't know if that's in every vehicle or just one that we're sitting in, but it's the first time that I've noticed that in any vehicle that has air suspension.
Yeah, because usually it's very subtle. You don't really hear anything. You don't hear the pneumatic motor or anything like that working. But in here, yeah, you can definitely hear the mechanical sounds of it functioning up and down, inflating and deflating.
Yeah, I mean, it still works great. It's seamless. It doesn't, there's no unwanted movements or anything like that. So it works fine. It's just a little noisy.
Yep. And then kind of as we move up to our control panel up here, as Kay mentioned, we've got our control here to open that tailgate. Does this one also close it, or does it just open it?
Yep,
it also closes it as well, so open and close. We've also got our functions here for the sunroof, the panoramic sunroof, so we've got those there. And then, of course, your help call assist controls and your interior lighting. So, they also have universal remote for garage.
Yep.
That's pretty neat to have that there. So yeah, they've got a lot of cool features. I think a good sound system is Alpine. I believe
9 speakers.
9 speakers, right?
Sounds great. Alpine is no slouch in the game,
no, not at all.
You're getting something special for real. And I will say, it looks. I just can't get over how good it looks in here.
Yeah, this is very comfortable.
It is, in my opinion, a world-class interior. It is legit.
Yeah, totally cool.
Not a fan of all the like black plastic, but that's the day we live in. So
yeah, I mean, you
love it or hate it, it's here.
Yep, roll with what you got. Again, we've got seating for 6, so we've got driver and passenger. We've got captain chairs here in the middle, and then we've got 2 more seats there in the back. So space-wise, I'd say it's fairly spacious. You do lack in trunk space, again, if you got the car loaded with everyone in here, but it's not too bad for a vehicle of this size.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Very impressive. All right, so yeah, let's move on to the back seats.
All right, let's go check out the back.
All right, guys, so here we are in the back seat. Just gonna show you around. Looks like we have a lot of the same materials that carry from the front seat to the back, so you get that same nice open pore wood with that beautiful stitching. More piano black plastic on the door, but I won't keep bringing that up, I promise. It's very interesting that you get power lock buttons in the back. I think the only other vehicle I've ever seen that on is the Ford Ranger, which is weird to say, but yeah, that's a thing they did. You do have HVAC vents here on the B pillar, which is interesting placement because usually you see them up here somewhere.
Yep.
If you get them at all.
Yep.
And then, as you can see, you've got the same beautiful seats in the back as well. Obviously, you get access to the third row. You just clip that up on the side there, then put it back down. And then you can also fold these seats, obviously, and then the headrest folds as you do that. Got your cup holders, really nice. And then they have really interesting center console here. Yes. Opens the way you would expect.
Yes.
And then you can also take this out, so it's almost like having hidden storage. But the people in the back also have access to some storage as well, because that flips that way. Really cool. And then you do get your individual HVAC controls in the back, which is very interesting. You do get heated seats in the back, which my 2017 has that, so I'm not surprised to see that here. No cold seats, though, for $70,000. But yeah, you do get some plugs back here. You've got like a normal household outlet here, and two of each. You got USB-C and USB Type A there as well. So that pretty much sums it up for the second row. I will do my best to crawl into the third row now.
This time it's your turn to crawl into the back.
Wish me luck.
Good luck. All right. Look at that. How does it feel back there?
Oh, I'll let you know in a second. Oof.
Yeah, a little tight.
It's a little tight. Well, I mean, I guess if you have a smaller adult in the back, it would be fine. I do have plenty of legroom unless they have to scoot their seat back. Then I might be in trouble. It's fairly comfortable. You do get two more USB ports back here. Cup holders. Got some vents back here as well as a light. So I guess they expect people to spend quite a bit of time back here. Give you all these creature comforts, but there's no thigh support, so you can't get too comfortable. And let's say you're getting in from the second row, you can also control the third row from there without having to walk all the way to the back. So you can fold them back if you need to.
Very nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then you do got a couple of Easter eggs. So Jeep. Interestingly, you have a Wrangler on this door, and two Grand Cherokees on that window. So okay.
Very interesting Easter eggs there.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it. Nothing super exciting back here, but
yeah, but I will just still say, for traveling, you're going on a trip. I think they did think about, to an extent, comfort and storage and placement for the people sitting in these last four seats.
Yeah.
So I do give them applause for that. That's actually, some pretty neat stuff there, having the second center armrest, so to speak.
Yeah.
For more storage space.
Yeah, it's nice. Like clearly, it wasn't an afterthought. You know, like the part where you rest your arm on is nice and soft. It's not hard plastic. And I just noticed they do give you like little cubbies for your phone.
Okay.
So you can set it down while it's charging. But yeah, they spent some money back here for sure.
Very nice, and the headroom seems to be fairly decent back there.
I'm not very tall, so
right.
But yeah, I mean, I have plenty of headroom, plenty of legroom. Assuming there's a shorter person in front, but
right on.
Yeah,
very cool.
Oh, I like it.
All right, man. Well, I think we should get this guy ready and take it out on our road test.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
Let me out of here.
Get out.
Ready, T?
I'm ready to go. Let's hit the road.
Let's get it. The transmission's really smooth. Shifts very quickly. Very nice. It's nice.
It sounds really nice too. Nice little rumble from the engine.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's go this way. There is quite a bit of like engine noise. It sounds fine, but would be nice if it were a little more refined, in my opinion.
I don't mind it. I don't know. I think I just like hearing the engine. I just like hearing that sound when you're stepping on and giving it gas, and pistons and cylinders are working and things are happening, and I don't know. It just makes the experience for me very exciting.
Got some railroad tracks coming up. Let's see how it does. We are in the second to lowest setting for the air suspension. It was all right.
Yeah, being in the back seat, I didn't feel like my back was getting thrown out or anything. So that was good.
Ride's pretty smooth. These are 20-inch wheels on some pretty thin tires, so you do get quite a bit of road noise. Which on my 2017 Grand Cherokee, it's got big old fat tires on it, so it really does feel a little more isolated. It's not so noisy. Plenty of get up and go.
Yeah, this is a nice ride. Surprisingly, very nice vehicle. Very comfortable, I would have to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great family car. Can't say really anything bad about it. Nothing that's going to be like a deal breaker for me. I think
right.
If I were looking for a 3-row family hauler and had some money to spend, it would definitely be on my short list.
Yes. Yeah, this would be on the list for sure. Listen to that V6, man. Little growl go.
Yeah, it's not the greatest sounding V6, but I mean, it sounds just fine.
Yeah.
I could live with that every day. This one, I think we mentioned earlier, has the driving safety features. So like lane keep assist. Doesn't do like any sort of like self-driving. So don't take your hands off the wheel.
Yeah, this definitely has a lot of safety features in this vehicle, which I was very impressed by, especially for people seeking features like that.
Yeah.
This definitely, I would say, has a great majority of them.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it has everything you could possibly want, except for a head-up display.
Except for a heads-up display. Yeah, these days, like you mentioned earlier, Kay, though, that heads-up display, I think, is key, especially if you're spending upwards of $60,000 for a vehicle. Yeah. It better come with a heads-up display.
Yeah. I mean, if you make the car comfortable enough for people to want to take long road trips in it and be comfortable and fine, and I think that's just one thing that would make the experience even better. You're not always hunting around for the information you need. It's just right there in front of you.
Yep.
Steering wheel feels good. It is honestly one of the best looking steering wheels I think I've seen in a while. The Cadillac had a nice one, but this is, like, in my opinion, right up there with the Cadillac.
I do like that the horn airbag isn't big and bulky.
Yeah.
It's nice and slim. Like, it really would fit like the palm of your hand if you needed to use it to honk. I mean, it's just a nice size.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But yeah, we're just about back to the shop, so we will wrap this video up with our final conclusions.
All right, guys, we will see y'all in a little bit.
All right, T, what are your thoughts on this bad boy?
Yeah, man, I'm actually pleasantly surprised with this Jeep. Again, we've picked another great vehicle to highlight. I didn't know really what to expect going into it, but driving it, being on the inside, it really has a lot of cool features.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
I think it's really cool. I mean, this is the Summit. I drive a Limited 2017, so it's previous generation. So it's not apples to apples necessarily, but it is very interesting to see everything that you get in a Jeep these days.
Yes.
With all the technology, the space, I mean, it's literally everything you need. I'll stop short of calling it the perfect family vehicle because Jeep is not known for dependability or reliability. So
right.
If you're going to have one, you better be prepared to spend some money at some point.
Right.
But overall, I could definitely see myself in something like this. With it, I mean, the styling alone, it draws me in. And then you realize everything that it has to offer, and it's like, this is it.
Yeah. I mean, I could see you in this as well. Definitely would fit your style, fit your niche, what you're kind of going for. And speaking of dependability and reliability, I do have to say I was also impressed. We noticed this earlier that it really did very well in the safety ratings. Almost 5 stars on every single one of them.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, that was a little impressive. I was not expecting that. I wasn't sure where I thought they fell in that realm, but I mean, they're 4 out of 5 essentially.
Yep. The only thing they got a 4 on was rollover. Yeah. Which again, I mean
if you're in a rollover crash, then you know,
that is what it is. Yeah. But very, very high safety as far as crash test rating. So this Jeep Summit has it going. It's going on, man.
Yeah, and now you know that it will take care of your family if you get into an accident.
Yep, 100%. All right, guys. Well, as always, please, we would love to hear your feedback. Feel free to comment down below. Let us know what you think of this Jeep, if you own one, if you want to own one, or if you wouldn't own one. Just give us some of your thoughts. We'll be happy to reply back. We really thank you again for supporting our channel. Thank you for your time. We hope you've enjoyed this video. And
we'll catch you on the road.